All right, so we're talking about probability again, and it's a little reminder about probability Venn diagrams. If I said pepperoni, probability of pepperoni is not 5. It's the 5 and 6 together, making 11. I'm going to throw a little curveball at you. Let's say I said the probability of not pepperoni. Would you figure out what that is and write it down, please? Probability of not pepperoni. We have a new name for that. What was the probability of not pepperoni? Turn it my way. Zoom in on it a little bit. I think you added wrong. I think you added wrong. And some of you aren't including some of them. Yup, 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 nope, yup, 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 nope, too big, yup. All right, good. Not pepperoni would mean you can't be this one and you can't be that one, and therefore you can be these two. And what does 71 and 18 add up to? It adds up to 89. Unless I'm missing something. Somebody got a smarter answer than 89 for any reason? Okay. Then, do you know what that's called? It's not called not pepperoni. It's called the complement pepperoni. That's the math term for it. So it's probability of pepperoni with a little c. See the little c up there? It's called the complement of. It just means not pepperoni or not whatever you were talking about. So if I say the complement of sausage, the complement of sausage means not sausage, the other two. Make sense? That's what complement means. A little c raised up. There's some other terminology I'm going to teach you in a minute, but right now I'd like you to try this little warm-up quiz. It's in Schoology. It's under tests and quizzes, and I'll leave that up there so you know exactly what it's called. It's called warm-up. Find it. It's 4 questions. Most kids last hour got 4 out of 4. No pressure or anything, but I'm hoping you get at least 3 out of 4. I'm going to pause while you do that probability quiz. Again. All right. Hopefully you did well on that. If you didn't, just take the time to look at the answers. It usually tells you what the right answer was. Try to figure out from your mistakes. Try to learn from your mistakes. That's the main thing. All right. Some terminology that you need to learn. I want you to shut your iPads for a minute and just watch and listen and answer when I ask you some stuff. But I don't think you'll need to take notes on this next minute. Shut. Let's go. All right. This means union. Union of the United States of America. You know how the U kind of looks like this? If you put your, you don't need to put your arms up, but if I put my arms up like this, it means I'm gathering in like everything, the union of the whole group. Okay, so union means the same thing as or. Remember how or is like a big answer? All of these together would be the union. It's areas 1, 2, and 3. Okay, intersect. The intersect means, intersection, means the same thing as the and seems like it should mean everything, but it's only the overlap. I want to talk about an intersection for a sec. Right near this high school, there's the intersection of 101 and what? And 7. And right there in between, that's the intersection, right? And that's also a math intersection. It's where they overlap. Now, if we said instead, we don't often say this, but instead we said the union, 7 and 101. What would I have to shade in to make that work? All the rest of it. That'd be the union of 7 and 101. It's all of it. As opposed to the intersection of 7 and 101 would actually look like this. 7 intersect 101. That's what an intersection is. Okay? All right. So moving back to, let's do a problem. Everybody get to example 1 in your iPad. And an example 1, I'm going to read it quick, and then we're going to actually make a Venn diagram. Susie has a math quiz and a French quiz on the same day. Probability she gets an A on her math quiz is 0.85, and the probability she gets an A on her French quiz is 0.90. Do you get the problem? If you go 0.85 and 0.90, do you get that that adds up to more than 100? That can't be right then. So let's keep reading. The probability she gets an A on both is 0.80. Where's both? In the middle. And that's, if that's 0.80, how can this total up to 85? if you put a 0.05 here. Do you get that? This brings up a really important point. When you're making a Venn diagram, start in the middle and then go to the outsides. It's a lot like a baby chick hatching out of its egg. It starts on the inside and it works its way outside. You know, this is an interesting factoid, but if they tried taking baby chicks and if they were having trouble pecking their way out of the egg, if they actually just broke open the egg for it, that the baby chick would actually die. Isn't that crazy? Because they need that struggle as part of strengthening their body and to be able to survive. I'm not sure that that means that if you took one that was strong enough to peck its way out and cut open the egg for it, that it would automatically die over the course of the next few days. But so I don't know the study on that completely, but start on the inside, work your way out. So now I got to do French. French quiz was 90. So you look at French, and this should be 90 then, right? No, that can't. You don't just put the numbers in. You go 80 plus what would make 90? Oh, this must be 10. And then this adds up to only 95. So 0.05 down there. I know it's just what you meant. Okay. What's the probability she gets an A on her math or French quiz? Does or mean a big answer? Yes, it does. So then you'd put math and French together and you'd have 80 and the 10 and the 5, which makes 95, and there you go, 95. Let's try another question. What's the probability she does not get an A on French? All right, so I'm going to take off this scribble writing that I had here. Not getting an A on French. Not French. Remember what that was again? Called the complement of French. Not French. Not this, not that. That disappeared. Hold on. That was supposed to be a 10 in there. Not those two, and therefore, must be these two. And the 05 and the 05 make total of 0.10. Make sense? All right. Moving on. The complement. That's that not French thing. That's called the complement of F. I just already said that. All right, given that she gets an A on her math quiz. Oh, wait, given. This is the first time we've had a given on a Venn diagram question. Given means, yes, I'm going to X that out, but first I'm going to say given means that this is the things that I can use, and therefore, those are the things I can't use. So, as soon as it says given, I would circle the part that you're going to use. I can only use the 80 and the 5. Now I got to answer the question. What's the probability that she also gets an A on her French quiz? That should be a capital A. But anyway, well, probability is always what you want over what's possible. We just figured out what's possible is these two. So I add them together, 85. What do I want? I want the French quiz to be an A. That's this part. So 0.80 over 0.85. Do you get how I did that? It was what I want over what was possible. And the only things that were possible, it says given got an A in math quiz, meant only these were possible. All right. Moving on. Remember union again? Try to answer this top question without my help. I'm going to pause for a moment while you try it, and then I will see how many of you get it right. Okay, what I was hoping you were doing here is the probability of A union B. Well, A union B means all of A and all of B, so it would be all of those things. You put them all together, you end up with 21. Now, what's it out of? We add them all up. 21 plus the other ones that add up to 15 makes a total of 36. 21 out of 36. Do you understand how I got that? Union is a big group, like the Union of the United States of America. A union B is all of these. Now, some of you might have been thinking, don't you just mean these two? No, that would be the intersection of A and B. Okay, question? Any questions? Please ask me. If you think I'm wrong, tell me, because I do make mistakes. Good question. The question is, so shouldn't the 4, 5, and 6 be thrown out because they're part of C, but aren't they part of A? or B? If I asked these 4 right there and I said, are you part of A? What would they say? Those 4 are part of A. And these 5 are part of B and A. And these 6 are part of A or B, A or B. So yeah, all of those count. It doesn't say not C. That would be different. Not C would mean can't be any of these. That'd be a different question. Okay, moving on. Everybody try this next one. The intersection of A union C. What I want is the probability of that. Probability of getting A intersect C. Remember, these numbers all add up to 36. What's the probability of A intersect C? The intersection of A and C is these two. You should have said 9 out of 36. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, good. On to not A. This one we're just supposed to do not A. Assume it's out of 36 again. Not A. Just means not those. So add up the rest of them. They add up to 10, 20, 24, right? Raise your hand if you had 24. Okay, good. You're right. And the last one is only C, and that can really be confusing because you might take all of these, but no, if you're only in C, you can't be in anything else, so it's just the 7. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, good. Then, example 2, this is probably the hardest question you will have on Venn diagrams. Kids will get it wrong more than any other one, so pay attention while I show you how to do this. It's not because there's 3 circles. 3 circles is just about as easy as 2. Okay, the hard part is making the Venn diagram. And if you remember my advice from before, it'll really help. Well, how did I say to start before? In the middle. So I'm going to read over all of this. I'm not going to put a single number in. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make is they start, 60 read newspaper A, and they write in the 60 right here. Don't just start slapping numbers in. Where you start is in the middle. Everybody label this with A, B, and C. So we all do it the same. Technically, they could be in different places, but if we all do it the same, our answers will look the same. Okay? So label it with A, B, and C in those spots. A survey has been taken to see what newspapers people read. The results of 125 respondents. Ooh, right there. I'm going to write 125 here. That's not part of the Venn diagram. It's just telling me what it totals up to. 60 read newspaper A, and like I said, don't start on the outside of the thing. Start on the inside of the thing. So don't put that in yet. 50 read newspaper B and 75 read newspaper C. 22 read A and B. I'm just kind of glossing over all of this until I get to the what? The A, B, and C, the middle. And that's what? 15 read A, B, and C. Everybody put a 15 right there. Now we can go back and go from there. Now let's go one step at a time. We're going to do these 3 next. They're kind of like the inner circle, not the totally inner, but they're like the next level of inner. They're not the outer ones. These will be last. We don't do those till last. All right, it says 22 read A and B. Oh, how many times have I marked this wrong? 22. It's in A and B. What do you mean? But then when you do that, there's really 37 that are in A and B. Get it? You can't just stick the numbers in. The number 22 is not going to appear anywhere on this whole diagram. The total's 22. So then what does that have to be? 7. All right, next the 35. It will not end up putting in a 35. But we'll look where A and C are, and together those spots make 35. So then what's this got to be? 20. And then I think you're getting the pattern here. 28 read B and C, and so this is together. These make 28. 13 then. That's kind of hard to read. I'm going to change it to green. 13. All right. And then you do the outside last. And the outside was the 60 read newspaper A. Total of 60 on all of these. We already have 20, 35, 42 there. So that leaves 18 left, I believe. So remember, do them from the inside out. Once you finish, and then I'll tell you what the answers should be. This last one, remember that has the total, grand total has to be 125. Excuse me. I'll pause while you finish that puppy off, and we'll see who's perfect. Okay, let's see who had them. Here they are. 18, 7, and 15 across the top. Raise your hand if you had those right. Okay, good. Then you're probably getting them all right. The most common marked wrong one is the very last one. But we'll take a look at those. 20, 15, and 13 across the middle, and then a 27 here, and then the very last one's 10. All right, raise your hand if you had it perfect. Excellent. If you didn't, and you just saw it was a dumb little adding mistake, then don't worry about it. All right, so I think that's all we need. One last reminder, when they have a slash like this, I don't think we're going to test on that, but you might see it in the examples. That means given. So I want to look at this one. Everybody scan to the one, or flip through your examples to the one that says probability of paper B and C slash paper A. What does slash mean again? Given. Given paper A. As soon as they say given paper A, I'm going to circle all of this because this is the only thing that I can use. These are given. Given that that is true, that means none of these are going to work. I can't use any of those numbers. You see how that simplifies my problem a lot? All right, now I go probability of paper B and C. B and C. All right, well, is there any B's and C's left? Yeah, the B's are these two, and the C's are those two. Does and mean I should join them all together in a big union? No, that's or. And means I have to find the ones where they're a combo. Are these that are left, right there, are those B and C? Yes, they are. Now, yes, they also happen to be A, but they didn't even care about that. We are only choosing from things that are in A. So final answer is 0.12. Or is it? When you have a given, aren't you supposed to be dividing by something? What was possible? What was possible is all, now everything possible? No. Everything possible added up to 1, but everything that was possible here is only these guys. So you'd have to add all of those up and they go on the bottom. 0.144 plus 0.056 plus 0.12 plus 0.16. All right, so remember, givens always have something on the bottom. What it's out of changes. Okay, that's good enough. That's all I have for the video for you for today.